I'm Insomniac, and this is the Victorinox Orignal XL model 249085. I'd like to start by giving a shout out to Steve. He's actually lent a few watches that I have reviewed on the channel. He got this one, didn't even open it or unbox it or take any of the plastic off. He handed it right to me. He said, go ahead, review it. Very cool. Thank you very much. Well, let's dive right in. Alright, so first let's talk about the case. Don't exactly love that case shape, but that's just a matter of opinion. That's not something to knock it for. What I am going to knock it for is the fact that this case is plastic. I'm pretty sure the company worded it a different way, but it's plastic. This case, it's plastic. Now, in terms of general scratch resistance and durability, that's actually probably not such a bad thing, but in terms of wearing a quality watch, it's plastic. Even if you subtract the fact that it's plastic, like I said earlier, I don't like the case shape. It kind of has non-existent lugs. It kind of has this crown guard thing here, but the crown is so tiny and insignificant that it kind of looks lost in there. Case back is a stainless steel screw down type with the company name and a little bit of information, most of which you will find in the info screen at the beginning of this review. You have a hardened mineral crystal, then surrounding that you have this red bezel. Now there are two problems for me with this bezel. First of all, what's the point of it? It has these nice chrome inner and outer rings, and you would think that that would kind of house something, some kind of indices, I don't know, something on that bezel, but it's just large and plain. And the big issue for me is that it's a different shade of red than the Victorinox logo and the indices on the dial for the GMT. It's literally not the same shade of red. So when you look at it, it kind of drives you nuts because it's like, here's this huge red bezel, but it has nothing on it, it doesn't serve a purpose, and it doesn't match the stuff on the dial. Now, yeah, that's just me being extremely picky, but it is something that once you wear it for a few days, will start to drive you nuts. Now let's talk about the dial. It's a simple white. You have printed Arabic numerals. There is nothing at the 3 because that is where the date window is, which I think is a very good location for it. You have a minute tracker on the outside with a dot of lume at every hour indice. Victorinox logo and name at the top, Swiss made at the bottom. And the hands are just a simple black kind of sword style hands. You have a lume fill in the minute and hour hands and a standard stick style second hand. Overall, it's a very clean and simple dial, really no complaints there. Nothing exactly special about it, but it does the job. As for usable complications, you have 1.5, I'd say. One is your date window at 3 o'clock, which is a black numeral on a white disc. It's in a good location, it matches fine, it even has a little black border around it. And the half, to me, is what they call the GMT function. It's really just a set of 24-hour indices that goes around the inside there. You see those red numerals. That's pretty useful for quickly telling time in the 24-hour format, so a couple of usable complications for sure. For lume, you have a dot of lume above every hour indice, and your minute and hour hands are also lume filled. Now, as you see here, it looks like a pretty good lume filling, and at a full charge for the first few minutes, it is. But it doesn't last very long, and on top of that, the dots for the hour indices really don't charge up with a general light source, like if you're just going from in your house to out in the parking lot or the driveway. They really are so dim that you can barely see them. And even as I'm talking here, you can see the lume pretty quickly wearing off. So although not bad looking at a full charge and definitely usable, doesn't last very long. It's not really the best lume I've seen. Now let's talk about what's, in my opinion, the absolute strongest point for this watch. That is time at a glance. Black numerals and black hands with the simple minute track going around the outside of the dial gives you a very fast and very easy read of the time. So in terms of the watch's core function, which is being able to tell you the time, The hands don't get lost, everything's easy to find, and it is super easy and super simple to read the time on this watch. As for accuracy, it's a Swiss-made quartz movement. So there's really not much to talk about there. It's accurate, that's for sure. The only thing I don't exactly love about the movement is an aesthetic issue. If you look at the second hand, it doesn't line up with the minute indices over at the outer edge of the track, at least not on the left half of the dial. Interestingly enough, after the 12 o'clock, it seems to start lining up pretty well till it gets to the 6, and then it's all out of whack again. So it has nothing to do with the accuracy. It tells time fine, but aesthetically it's one of those small little things that when you have a deadbeat second hand, I like it to line up with the indices, and this one only does for half the time. Now let's talk about the strap, and this is an unfortunate case. It's a really cheap, really thin nylon, and it kind of has these leather reinforcements where I guess, it's expected to take more stress. You see that there by the lugs, and over here towards the buckle, which is super plain, and here where the holes are for the strap size. But it is so thin that it just feels cheap when you wear it, to the extent that this watch is a 10mm thick plastic quartz watch, and the body of this watch actually feels heavy in comparison to the strap when you have it on your wrist. It kind of looks the part with the plastic case. It kind of has like a utilitarian look to it, so aesthetically it's actually not horrible, but in terms of practicality and wearability, I didn't like it at all. And interestingly enough, that wasn't my least favorite part about this strap. Take a look here at this free loop or retainer, whatever you'd like to call it here, that holds the strap down. The first one here, that's not adjustable like the second one. That is the stationary one. Look how close it is to the buckle. It makes it really, really hard to get the strap off. It's a struggle, to the extent that I've already put some pretty good creases in this, and I've literally only had it for 4 or 5 days. It really is just not the smartest design I've seen. In terms of value for your dollar, the MSRP on this watch is $195, which would be laughable, but I have seen them online for as cheap as $95. Now, if you're shopping brand, meaning you were looking for the brand name, $95 for a Victorinox watch really isn't that bad. It's a Swiss-made brand, it has a little bit of history behind it. It's certainly not like going to buy one of those costume watches or something like that. It's an actual watch with an actual brand name. The problem for me is that sub $100, obviously there's not a lot of great stuff to choose from, but I have definitely worn and seen watches that are under $100 that are of better quality than this. In fact, I almost cringe to say it, but a couple of the Invictas that I've reviewed on this channel, which are under $100, blow this away in terms of quality. So again, that comes back to shopping brand, because obviously if it's Victorinox or Invicta, this is a better brand. But if you're looking for a cheap quartz watch that's going to feel like quality in comparison, then this is about the cheapest feeling watch that I've reviewed so far. So I don't necessarily even think it's a fantastic value at $95, although not a huge amount of money. $50? Yeah, pretty good watch. If you enjoyed this review, hit the thumbs up, share it with some other watch lovers. If you have one of these watches or something similar or anything you want to tell me about, leave a comment down below. If you want to see a lot more watch reviews coming from this channel, definitely hit the link at the top of the video description. Sign up over there on Patreon so I can continue doing this for you, put a lot more time into the channel. I'm excited to bring a lot of new watch reviews to this channel. Also, I hope you're enjoying the new format. Okay, we'll see you at the next one.